Well, if you wonder why you can't afford shit, this is pretty much why. Inflation keeps going and going and going. And the numbers for March were a little bit off what they had expected. It rose 0.4%. They were expecting a rise of 0.3%. But if you look at this chart, this is why you can't afford things. Every single month, inflation has risen since going back to 2021, the start of the pandemic. And as you can see, this is how much it rose on a month over month basis. So let's say inflation was at 4% in, let's say February, and now it's 5% in March. This would be represented by a 1% change. Look at this. There's not but 1 month that we have not had an inflation increase. So consumer prices rose by 3.5% from a year ago. So that means pretty much on average, everything went up by about 3.5% on you. Well, not everything. You see, hourly wages only went up 0.6% over 12 months. So that means that as prices went up, your wages only went up about 0.6%. So things got about 2.9% more expensive for you in the last 12 months alone. And the Fed keeps saying, these things are very stubborn. I'm not sure why they're not going down like we expected them to go down after we printed trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars and threw it out into the economy. Things are just not going down and we don't know why. And this chart here shows you the real inflation of all items and then the one that the Fed likes to use, the little blue dotted line, because A, it's lower typically because they remove food and energy. Two things that we all consume every day. We're like, they don't want to use that number because that makes it look worse. Look how much worse it looks, if you use the big blue number. Plus, you don't want to use that because they say those prices are so volatile because, our power companies are always, increasing energy prices. And I know it includes gas and other things like that. They don't want to show those numbers. Those are ones that are hitting your pocketbooks on a daily basis. They want to keep housing and a few other things that they can control or they feel they can control and pull the dial down on, but they really can't, as you can see. And as you can see by their comments, it's like, services inflation we expected to ease, but that's been being stubborn as well. And they thought by raising interest rates, they would be able to drop the housing prices. But houses and the cost of living has gone up by 5.6%. I apologize, 5.7% for shelter. Meat's up 0.9%. This is also the fault of eggs jumping 4.6%, those doggone chickens. But hey, the money printers want you guys to be patient, on them cutting rates, saying they've not seen enough evidence that inflation is on a solid path to their 2% goal, which means you still lose 2% of the value of your money every single year, and that's their goal. So just be patient. They're working on bringing the prices only up 2% a year.